One way to engage your audience is to use the polling pod. If you have a chat pod, you can certainly ask questions that are free-form questions, but you might also want some formal information collected by using a poll. Right now I have a layout for my discussions, and a layout if I'm going to share something like my screen or a document. Let's create a new template that I'm going to use just for polling. I'll go to Layouts, Create New Layout, and I'm going to use Create a New Blank Layout because I'm just going to add a couple polling pods here. And while I have the opportunity, I'm going to go ahead and name this Polls. Notice that my template is properly named over here now, making it easier for me to keep track of things. So now I'll go to Pods, Poll, and Add New Poll. I'll resize this down as I don't need it to fill the whole screen. There are a couple types of questions that I can ask. The first one that I'm going to ask is going to be multiple choice. I'll type my question and the answers. And as I'm typing, people aren't seeing anything. They're just seeing an empty poll pod. I'll go ahead and add my question and answers. Each answer will go on a separate line. Now, in order for my participants to see the poll, I need to click on Open. People can start to participate in the poll, and all they have to do is select their choices among the options I have offered. As people are answering, I'm seeing their results. However, they aren't seeing the results yet until I click Broadcast Results. I'll go ahead and let them see the results. I'm going to create another poll that's going to allow my participants to select multiple answers. I'll resize my poll and select multiple answers. So my students can participate, I need to click Open. And I can see my students responding to this question. Again, they're not going to see the results until I select Broadcast Results. There are a couple of ways to display the results. First off, I'm going to go under the pod options and choose the result format that I'm going to show to the audience. Another thing you should do for every poll is to change its name. To do that, we actually have to close the voting and go to the Prepare mode and then double click on it. I'll close this poll, double click on the name, and I'm just going to call it T Production. And I'll do the same for the other poll. I'll call it Top Crops. I'll close these polls and reopen them. Notice that naming them makes them easier for me to find. So if I had several questions, I'll want to make sure that each polling pod has a proper name. And I can clear my results by selecting the menu, Clear All Answers. And now my polls are ready to go. If I'm having several sessions, I can easily bring these poll pods up at any time I want and not just in the polling template. The final thing that's really useful about polls is that you can use them not just to gather opinion, but also to find out who's paying attention. You can actually see who has voted in your poll. Let's take a look at that. I'd open this poll again, and I'm going to go over to View Votes. I can see that both Sarah and Bradley have voted, and I can see what they voted for. If several of my participants are missing from this poll, I know that something is happening and I need to take steps to bring people back into this meeting. So polls are useful for gathering information, opinions, quizzing your audience, but also making sure they're being attentive. Again, it's a good idea to have these polls ready to go prior to your session. It's also a great way to engage your participants.